Summer movie season kicks off with the final film in easily the most consistent Marvel franchise out there, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Let's talk about it spoiler free. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my very spoiler-free review for the new Guardians of the Galaxy film, Volume 3. I'm going to just say the most basic plot premise there is. I'm not going to talk about really anything of detail, but I will get into my thoughts on the movie, of course, in just a moment. But first, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. I post movie and TV reviews galore on this channel. Just about every day, I try to post something new for you to check out. Please consider subscribing down below or like this video, comment on this video. Let me know what you think the most consistent Marvel franchise is. Iron Man, certainly not it. Captain America, I don't think the first one is particularly that good. Thor, the fourth one was like horrible. And the second one's not even that good either. Ant-Man is okay. I didn't love the second one. So for me, Guardians has to be the most consistent, unless you're counting, I guess, the Avengers as a whole. But then even then, Age of Ultron, not very good. Not very good by Marvel standards. I think I still gave it a B- or something, but these Guardians movies have a very special place for me because nobody really knew what to expect with that first one. I had certainly never heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but I liked some of the people involved. I thought, okay, well, let's check it out. And of course, it was amazing. The second one, I think, is not quite as good as the first, but still, like, really good, very emotional. So this one is supposed to be the final movie in what will be a Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. Now, I do think, based on the way it ended, we may see spin-offs or something from some of the characters. But in terms of a whole Guardians of the Galaxy, in total, I think this probably will be the last one. Of course, there is the holiday special, too, and I would even put that with the consistency thing. The holiday special was a lot of fun, which you can, I assume, still stream on Disney Plus unless they took it off till the holidays next year. But I would imagine with the movie coming out, it's probably still on there. And you don't need to see that to know what's going on with Volume 3 at all. So the very basic premise of this is that Rocket Raccoon, voiced by Bradley Cooper, is in trouble, and basically the Guardians are, on a mission to protect him from the High Evolutionary, who is played by Chukwudi Iwuji. Also in this movie included, all of the regular cast of the Guardians movie: Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, who, spoilers for some old stuff, in, I think, Infinity War, right? Where she died, that is explained, and satisfactorily so. Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, Pom Klementieff, Vin Diesel. I mentioned Bradley Cooper already. Newcomer, Will Poulter, who may factor in later, not sure. Sean Gunn, Nathan Fillion, Sylvester Stallone. So a lot of the people that we've seen before in the Guardians movies. James Gunn back in the director's chair, which is something that almost didn't happen. A few years ago, some old tweets surfaced, and, he sort of was in some hot water with Disney, and they ended up firing him. So he said, okay, well, I'll go to DC. And in the meantime, he did the Suicide Squad movie, and then something else over there, too. But then Disney realized their error, brought him back for this, but this will be his final project for Marvel, as he is now going to be the head, the Kevin Feige of DC. So, really getting fired from the original Volume 3 might have been a great thing for him, because it allowed him to go over to DC and let that door open. So Disney, I think, really missed the opportunity there, because there's a reason that these Guardians movies are so consistent and so good, and that is because of James Gunn. He has such a great vision for these characters. And, he incorporates music so well. He incorporates really interesting set pieces. There's, I've not been to Disney World since year and a half ago, but now they have the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, and watching this movie and seeing, like, some of the set pieces and stuff, I don't know if they incorporate any of that stuff in the ride, but a lot of the stuff in this movie would be a really cool ride. I think that the set designs and some of the character designs too, really, really interesting in that regard. So yeah, plot wise, I'm not going to really talk about anything else. So let's get back to what this movie does well, which is a lot of things. For one thing, well, okay, let's go to the music, because I mentioned James Gunn, is great with the music. I had been sort of spoiled on a couple of what the songs were going to be before I saw the movie. So the only thing I will mention specific music-wise is the intro song, which is an acoustic version of Radiohead's Creep. And that's just the kind of sort of interesting thing that James Gunn has brought to the table. He brings all of these not obvious songs. And Deadpool did something similar in Deadpool 2 when they played the MTV Unplugged version of a-ha's Take on Me. We hear the original version, so much, but the Unplugged version becomes really a somber ballad, and they used it to great effect in that movie. Creep is already, by Radiohead, is already a down song, definitely a grunge anthem. And Radiohead doesn't even play it in concert anymore. But this particular version, I just know this because I'm a music guy and a Radiohead fan. This is a B-side that they played acoustically for a radio station that was released on a CD single in 1990, probably 4, called Stop Whispering. Not even a hit song, but I guess now with YouTube and Spotify and everything, you can sort of cherry pick some of these old B-sides and rare songs. But it just was used to such great effect to start the movie off on this really interesting and somber note. And we see Rocket sort of singing along with it. And this whole movie really is about Rocket and his past. We see tons of flashbacks to how he not really even came to the Guardians of the Galaxy, but came to be in existence, and how he got his name, and how what his childhood looked like. And there's some intense stuff in there. So this, more than anything, is kind of about him. But one of the other great things that the Guardians, I think, does more consistently than any other Marvel series is the humor. It is so funny. It's easily the funniest Marvel movie in a long time, probably since Guardians 2, or maybe since Thor Ragnarok. I forget which one of those came out first. But, they tried with Thor Love and Thunder, and it was way, way too much and kind of irritating, I thought. But here, it's this perfect balance. Dave Bautista is a big part of that with his Drax character. Just sort of being so to the point about everything, and he plays it off very, very well. It's been said that maybe Dave Bautista is our greatest wrestler turned actor. I think that could be true. John Cena's, pretty cool, but Dwayne Johnson kind of plays the same thing every time. Dave Bautista, though, he's done a lot of different things, and I think he'll probably forever be associated with the Drax character, but he's very, very good here, and very funny. And Chris Pratt, I don't necessarily love the guy, but I think he's a bit full of himself. He tends to play the same kind of roles all the time. But Star-Lord was one of his first major movie roles, so I do associate him, with that role, and sort of think that most of the things he plays are a version of Star-Lord. So this is kind of his wheelhouse, I think. He's very good here. The interplay with the whole team is great. And maybe that's what makes this work over a lot of the other movies I mentioned, the Captain Americas, the Iron Man. Yeah, maybe there's one other person to kind of play off in those movies, but here you've got the whole team, and each one brings different strengths to the table, both as a Guardian and both, as a character in the movie. Each one sort of brings something different to the table, and I really like that. What else can I say? I like that this was a standalone story. Yeah, it probably helps to at least have seen one of the other Guardians movies. Probably, if you're only going to see one, probably 2 gets referenced the most in this movie. But, it would be nice to see the first 2. I think they assume you're going to. But you don't have to branch out and see 80 other things like I feel like you did kind of have to with some of the other recent movies. This is easily the best Marvel movie we've gotten, non-Spider-Man related, in a long time. I did like Shang-Chi, but this might be better than that. The last few have been either, mediocre, like Ant-Man was okay, I didn't hate it. as much as some of the critics, but Quantumania Ant-Man was like all right. But then Thor was just not good. Eternals was horrible. Doctor Strange, I didn't really care for the second one of that. So they've been on a really, really downswing, and this makes me excited for the future of the MCU. I know we're not going to get any more Guardian-specific movies, but like I said, we could maybe spin some of these characters off. And the other thing the Guardians movies, I think, does better than most of the other franchises in the Marvel Universe is the emotional impact. One had some, but two, when they play Father and Son by Cat Stevens at the end of two, and again, going back to the great music selections from James Gunn, I mean, that is one of the most emotional moments in all of the MCU, for sure. And we've had a lot of them. You know, we've had some character deaths, but Father and Son playing that tune, that was big. And this movie has a handful of different emotional moments that I think really do hit properly. Really, more than even making me excited for the future of the MCU, it makes me excited for the future of DC. I think with James Gunn at the helm, it's finally going to maybe turn around and be really consistent, and most of their movies will be good. DC is on like one movie will be great, and then the next one will be terrible, and then the next one will be like so-so. So I'm looking forward to him bringing that over to DC because they sorely need it. But it's unfortunate because Marvel needs it now too, and James Gunn has said bye-bye. So in any case, this is one of the great Marvel movies of the last couple of years for sure. I do think it is probably on par with number two. I think number one is still the best. Retrospectively, I mean, one might be an A+. I think I gave it an A upon the first watch, but it might be an A+. I mean, it's one of the best superhero movies I think that they've ever made. I'm going to leave Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with an A-. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.